Konnichiwa minasan. Sengatsu Nihon ni ryugaku shimashita. Kyou wa hanashimashou. Yeah, I know I didn't do that great, but at least I tried. Hey guys, I'm Kamiko. I spent 3 weeks in Japan last month, so I'm gonna go over the highlights today. Give you some tips if you do plan to go to Japan yourself. And yes, there will be a haul at the end. Okay, so first things first is actually getting to Japan. Recently, airlines started doing direct flights from Atlanta, Hartsfield-Jackson Airport to Haneda Airport. If you can afford the higher price, I actually do recommend getting a direct flight from wherever you're staying to Japan. I did actually do a connecting flight on the way back. We'll get to that later. I actually ended up in the middle seat both on the way to Japan and back, thanks to my really cheap Delta economy seats that I picked. I don't actually recommend this, obviously. I know you're probably thinking the window seat is the best option, and for a domestic flight it is, but for international, I'd actually recommend you get the aisle seat. You can get up, you can stretch your legs, and you can, you know, go to the bathroom. Nothing is more awkward than waking up a stranger 6 hours into your flight cause you gotta go. While we're on the topic, I bet you're curious how I packed my luggage. So this might not apply to everyone as I did stay 3 weeks, but I had to pack everything into a carry-on bag. Sadly, I could not bring any of my cute platforms in Japan, but it's actually not such a bad thing. I brought my platform Mary Jane Crocs with me, and those suffice just well, but as everyone tells you, you're gonna be walking a lot in Japan. And if you're sitting there like, Kamiko, what do you mean by walking a lot? You like walking for 30 minutes? Well, that's a short walk in Japan. That's what I mean by a lot of walking. So the plan was to fit my packed carry-on into an empty checked bag. So a tinier suitcase into a bigger one. That allowed me to bring only 2 bags with me when I went in, and it meant that I had a full checked bag's worth of space for all the stuff that I purchased. And spoiler alert, this ended up being barely enough space for what I needed, just so you know. But unless you're staying in Tokyo yourself, you are probably going to have to bring whatever you pack onto the train, unless you want to spend $200 for an Uber. Delta gave us 3 meals on my international flight, and they also have movies built into the back of the seats. So I enjoyed the classics for the first 7 hours while I tried to get some sleep. After about halfway through the flight, the time started to drag on pretty slowly for me, so that's when I pulled out my Nintendo 3DS that my sister gifted me. Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance was honestly my saving grace for when I started wanting to bounce off the walls. Upon landing, I stayed in a hotel next to the airport actually, just so I could gather my bearings before the classes started. Some tips for when you land in Japan is you will need an eSIM or a physical SIM, especially if you want to call your family back home. You should only activate it though when you land in Japan. Also, I've heard the exchange rate for US dollars to yen in the airport specifically is really high, so I wouldn't actually recommend you do that unless you brought like actual physical cash with you. After checking in, I called it an early night, and in the morning I enjoyed a pretty decent view of my hotel with some green tea, which is groundbreaking for me because I don't actually like green tea. Then the hotel actually had free breakfast, and I got some mini pancakes and this hotel cafe latte, which I'm not exaggerating when I say this was literally the best latte I had on this trip. So I headed over to orientation at Kanda University, which specializes mostly in international studies. I was given a tour, and good God, was this campus so beautiful. I mean, you really can't beat these views. Classes did run pretty late the first day, but I was very determined to do at least a little bit of exploring when I first arrived, so to Akihabara it was, but more on this city later. The next day I had more classes, but afterwards I checked out Book Off. It's kind of like Goodwill or Second and Charles if you've been, but they have way more variety than these 2 stores combined. I found the perfect La Crusette pot for my mom, and yes, I lugged this heavy ass pot on the hour transit back to where I was staying. She weighed as much as a baby did, so I figured she needed a human name. So guys, meet Sarah. At home, my homestay mom let us try on her kimonos. This was a really special moment for me as I've wanted to wear these beautiful historical garments since I was literally a child. This one is particularly special as my homestay mom said it's made of real silk and has been passed down in her family for generations. So needless to say, I was extremely honored. The following day, my roommate and I found this wonderful cafe called Little Favorite. The staff was very kind and the food is good and it's expensive. Inexpensive. Classes started pretty early that morning, so I actually brought parts of my pink diamond cosplay to bead while I was listening. If you're also neurodivergent, this is a great way to stay engaged in classes so you don't end up falling asleep, like I do. Afterwards, this was one of the several times that I went to Harajuku, but this time specifically, I wanted to check out the basement floor of La Forêt. This shopping center does have multiple floors, and it's mostly stocked with fashion, mostly of J fashion or alternative styles. And honestly, I think it has something for everyone in it. This first time here, I actually got a cute bowl, or donburi, for my sister. And afterwards, I got gyoza, which is like a pork dumpling, and this quickly became one of my favorite foods while I stayed here in Japan. Then I made the confusing walk to Closet Child. If you don't know, Closet Child is a secondhand clothing store, and there are 3 in Harajuku based on different substyles of what exactly they're selling. I was looking for the Lolita fashion stores, obviously, and sadly, I can't film inside the store, but it was really cool to get to touch a lot of Lolita fashion brands I see online in person, and now I see why everyone hates New Moitié. Ugh. The next day, I got some udon close to Tokyo, and then there was our tour of Tokyo Skytree. We ended up going on a cloudy day, but I still think the view was good. So either way, I highly recommend stopping here, kinda no matter what weather you run into. Not only are the sights really worth seeing, but there are tons of stores on each level of this building. I kid you not. I checked back at my camera roll. I literally stayed in this building for 2 hours. Wrapping up here, I spent the evening in Ginza to check out Vampire Cafe. This place actually established in 1999, and you can't not tell me Mana didn't stay here. I love this place. You have to go to the 7th floor of this definitely not scary elevator, but once you're there, you're immediately immersed into the vampiric realm of this Gothic cafe. It was such a lovely experience dining here. I got this drink called Dystopia and Gothic garlic bread. Guys, I literally have been having dreams about Gothic garlic bread. I need her. And then I got some appetizers for the table. I will say though, you usually need a reservation to dine at places like this, so just keep that in mind. But literally, I have no notes. Please go here. The next day was my first free day from classes, so I spent the whole day exploring Chiba Prefecture with my homestay mom. We went to the Mega Aeon Mall there's multiple Aeon malls, but there's one specifically at the Makuhari Hongo train station that is the largest one in Chiba, I believe. But I got this really cute dress at Uniqlo. I decided to film the actual process of trying it on because the fitting rooms are slightly different in Japan than they are here. For one, most places are probably going to ask that you remove your shoes depending on what the services are. But the other thing that they have is they ask for you to wear a mesh bag over your head when you're trying on clothes. This is so that any sweat or makeup or whatever might be on your face doesn't get transferred onto the clothes. I ended up trying on this dress, and while it is not a Lolita brand, I intended to purchase it for Lolita cords, and I think it works pretty nicely, and it's got pockets. And unlike Girl OP from Wame Moitié, this dress was only $40. The next thing we did is my homestay mom took me to the pier. The view was really pretty and the wind was very refreshing, even though it was strong enough to blow away my hopes and dreams. Very relaxing. There was a beautiful garden that was walking distance, and we came across this really cute ginger cat on the way out. Also, side note, the crows in Japan are huge. Next, we went to this botanical museum pretty close to the pier, and I'll say if you've ever been to the Atlanta Botanical Gardens, this place is a little different from that. For one, they actually recommend that you come at night so that the lights and the ambiance are more favorable for your trip, but they also play really soothing music in here and some aromatherapy as well. It was quite a calming experience walking around here and just enjoying the atmosphere. Luckily, it wasn't too crowded in here either. And I got to see this hella cool apple. And we returned home for the night. For my next free day, I went back to Harajuku for some more exploring. The first place I went to was the Lush store. I always get the same thing when I come here, the Rose Argan gift box. Here it was about $15 US, and it's literally the only way you can get that Rose Argan lotion for cheap. If you're looking for body lotion in Japan, say skin cream or body cream. Don't say lotion. You're welcome. Then I went back down to La Forêt to try to show y'all what it looks like down here. Like I was saying earlier, B1 is where all of the Lolita fashion brands are, and unfortunately most are not okay with photos and videos, except for Angelic Pretty and this other store. So with this in mind, I highly recommend you learn some basic Japanese phrases. Knowing even a little bit of Japanese can significantly enhance your trip and allow you to navigate this country with at least a little bit more ease. Some phrases I ended up hearing a lot and saying the most while shopping was, the shop clerk says, "Would you like a bag?" Which is not kaban, it's ofukuro, I found out. Do you have a point card? Point cards are like rewards cards here in the States. Can I try this on and can I take photos? Are some good ones to learn so you can ask the staff. And most importantly, do you have this item in blank? Like if you're looking for a specific color or a specific size. It's also a good idea to learn daijoubu desu, that's okay, and sumimasen, excuse me, or sorry. You will say sumimasen a lot. I wrapped up by visiting Meiji Jinju Bridge, which if you didn't know, is a huge part of J-fashion history, specifically with Lolita fashion. I mean, all of Harajuku is a huge part of Lolita fashion history, but this area specifically was where a lot of J-fashion people used to hang out, so I had to take my photos here. And it's literally walking distance from the nearest train station, so I literally had no excuse. And if you are a fellow Lolita, I'm sure you're sitting there like, Kamiko, you forgot to go to— I know. Trust me, this is not the first time I go to Harajuku on this trip. Just wait a second. The next day was a class tour of the Imperial Palace, and I got a tiny dose of just how crowded it is in Japan. Lots of people like to say it's crowded in Japan, and I said, what do you mean by that? But it was nice and cloudy and it wasn't too hot when I got to walk around today. Afterwards, we went to Kyosumi Garden. It was very beautiful here. I could have stayed here all day, honestly, but you ever just feel like someone's staring at you? Well, not somebody. Something. Yeah, those snapping turtles are menacing. I mean, look at this guy just staking it in between these two rocks. Like, bro is literally waiting for someone to get got. Apparently, behind me, they actually take reservations for tea ceremonies. So I'd love to try that if I'm able to come back. The next day, I was determined to try the scariest thing on my list. The onsen. Now, obviously you can't film in here, so I'm putting B-roll while I tell you about some basic etiquette for the onsen. Onsen are Japanese hot springs. They are known for their warm baths that usually have mineral water in it that has some pretty cool pretty cool like health benefits I've heard, especially for your skin. So for starters, they won't really let you into an onsen with tattoos, and I think all places won't let you in if you're on your period. There are private onsen at some ryokan, which are Japanese style hotels, and there are some tattoo friendly onsen, but they are harder to find. But for most traditional onsen, you will remove your shoes and then go to a locker room. Here, you will remove all your clothing before you actually enter the bath house. Now, I have heard some will allow you to wear towels or bathing suits, but I'm talking about the majority of onsen here. Once you arrive into the bathhouse area, there's going to be some showers and then the baths. But you're required to wash your entire body in the showers before you enter the baths. The other thing you're going to do before you enter the baths after showering is also pour whatever mineral water is in that bath onto your skin before entering. It's generally rude to stare, according to Reddit. Some other helpful tips I gathered from Reddit when I was researching is these baths are around 100 degrees Fahrenheit. So it is pretty easy to get dehydrated and pass out at onsens. So they recommend that you don't jump into them. I mean, it's considered rude anyway. You're supposed to enter slowly and exit slowly. Like, you don't want to hop out of the onsen quickly because that temperature fluctuation can mess you up. It's also recommended to drink water before and after because you'll be extremely dehydrated. And I heard you're not supposed to eat anything at least 30 minutes before you enter the onsen. Obviously, entering a local onsen in Chiba, I was the only foreigner and black person for that matter, but I did have a relaxing experience and the staff was very friendly to me. It's probably not for everyone, but I recommend it for those who want to try it. So for the following 3 days, our class was scheduled to stay in Kyoto. I had to get up at 4 in the morning to catch a bus to catch the Shinkansen in Tokyo. Shinkansen is the bullet train, and the ride from Tokyo to Kyoto is just about 2 hours. I think it's like an hour 40 or something like that. You do have to book seats for this train in advance. It's not like the JR or Keisei line where you just hop in line and get in there. And when you're booking your seat, I recommend booking it on the right side to Kyoto and sit on the left side on the way back from Kyoto to Tokyo, because you can see Mount Fuji, apparently. Sadly, I didn't get any cool Mount Fuji B-roll for you guys because I didn't get to sit on that side. But I did see this cool mountain on the way there, so silver lining. On the ride there, let me recommend some more helpful phrases for you to learn. Where is blank? Like the train station or the bathroom for that matter. And then to go on that, you can say, does this train or bus go to blank? This is really important if you're trying to figure out if you're on the right bus or not specifically. So that's a Japanese phrase I would learn as well. So in Kyoto, we explored Nara, which is deer central in Japan. Most wild deer are chill, unless you have food. Or keyword here, they think you have food. Then the deer are not chill. They will also fight too. I literally had 2 deer tussle directly in front of me, and I had to swerve to get out of the line of fire, if you catch my drift. But it was very funny. The deer are very cute. Next was Todaiji Temple, which is one of the more popular places in Kyoto, and it is very beautiful here, despite the rainy weather, crowded areas, and deer poop. This will quickly become a theme here, but the crowds in Japan are very common, especially in Kyoto, where there are so many historical landmarks. But I would not realize the magnitude of that statement until the following morning. Dawn of the next morning, I was determined to see more temples on my free day in Kyoto. Fushimi Inari Taisha was the first one on my list since it was free and about a stop away on the train from where I was staying. Fushimi Inari Taisha is actually on a mountain, so if you do go, there is a lot of walking involved. This place is very beautiful though. I heard that if you get there very early in the morning, you can beat the crowd. I guess my 9:30 a.m. wasn't early enough. People weren't lying when they said these places are crowded. So here's my recommendation to you. Think of a local trail that you like to visit on your days off. Now, imagine if everyone and their mama showed up. Not so relaxing, is it? There are literally hundreds of temples and shrines in Japan. So my recommendation to you is to actually skip some of the popular stuff for a more quieter and more relaxing experience at a less well-known shrine or temple. But also keep in mind that these temples and shrines in Japan are actively used as religious sites, so as always, do your research and be respectful. After a short break, I went back to the hotel to get some snacks at Don Quixote before I made the long commute to Sakamae Chidori. No, Sakae Machidori. There we go. To visit Choice Closet. So this store sells mostly Gothic Lolita fashion and accessories, most notably Atelier Boz. If you weren't aware, Atelier Boz is a popular Gothic Lolita brand that actually closed shortly during the lockdown and miraculously was kept afloat due to the new vending brand Alpstola. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. So getting to see Atelier Boz in person was a big deal to me. You literally have to walk through Sakemaya Chidori Chinatown in order to get to Choice Closet. So on the way back, I did stop by to get some lunch. I do think this place is worth stopping at. They actually have seating. Not all Chinatowns do, but I'll get to that. I ended up getting this cute panda dumpling, which ended up being onko, which is red bean paste. I usually don't like onko, but this bun was pretty good. I also got some boba, which was okay. And sadly, with the far commute back from Sakemaya Chidori to Kyoto, I actually didn't get to go to another temple that day. Like I was saying earlier, these places tend to close pretty early, and I got back pretty much right when all of them were closing in Kyoto. So I ended up going to Umekoji Park as kind of like a compromise, as they had a really pretty garden, scenic garden that I wanted to view, which closed as soon as I got there. I guess that means I have to come back to Japan in order to see it. Darn. This garden was pretty calm end to my Kyoto day 2, despite being a little disappointing, but silver lining, I had a pretty good day. So my last day in Kyoto ended up with a nice view at the hotel buffet. Then I went to Arashiyama, the bamboo forest. Arguably the most famous one, too. This is another extremely crowded area, but definitely easier to navigate than the packed crowds at Fushimi Inari Taisha. There's a beautiful town walking distance from the forest that is full of shops and restaurants. So with that in mind, I'll quickly tell you most of these places don't take cash. So I had to go find the closest Lawson. Now we can explore. I didn't have much time, but I got this cute beer soda, some yaki, which goes really well with soft cream, which I had with this, and a dumpling that I didn't manage to film because I literally had my hands full. And I also got this cute bag, which I will show you later. And with that, we are headed back to Tokyo. The following day was a free day, so my roommate and I got to spend some time with our homestay mom in Asakusa. We planned to do kimono rentals, so our first stop of the day was Asakusa Kimono Rental Shop. If you do end up going to this one specifically, it's on the 4th floor of this shopping mall that I didn't get a video of stupidly enough. But it's gonna look like you're going to a restaurant when you go. There's not a sign for this kimono rental. I'm telling you this because Google Maps was not any help. We had to stop and ask for directions. For reference, our basic reservation was about 3,000 yen and with a student discount. But after all of the add-ons from actually getting dressed, my specific reservation was about 11,700 yen, which is significantly higher than the actual reservation standard plan. If you do get the standard plan, it's mostly for yukatas, which are more casual versions of kimono. So if you want a kimono, either know you will have limited options or you will have to pay more money. This is kind of how these rental places work. The staff was very kind, but I do definitely recommend learning some Japanese, as not all of the staff in this store specifically can speak English. But I'm showing you these different places to make a point that Asakusa is like kimono rental area. So definitely have a look at all of the different options that Asakusa has to offer as far as kimono rental shops are concerned. Now, as far as actually wearing a kimono, if you've ever worn a corset before, wearing a kimono is similar, as the obi belt that goes around your waist is tied pretty tightly. These garments also have a lot of layers underneath the actual kimono garment. You would expect they get very warm. So maybe go for a yukata alternative if you stop by in the warmer months. But ultimately, kimonos are beautiful and culturally significant garments to Japanese culture and history, and are still actively worn today for special occasions. While respect and appreciation are encouraged when interacting with culturally significant garments, I highly recommend experiencing this part of Japanese culture specifically. It was truly a significant part of my experience in this trip, and arguably, probably my favorite one too. Remember all those things I told you I forgot to do in Harajuku? Well, I went back one final time to go do them. First up, Q-Pot. This iconic cafe is a staple for the Lolita community, and it certainly lives up to that name. For starters, Google Maps actually directed me into a resident driveway. So, if that happens to you, I took an entire loop around that, that square, and that led me into Q-Pot. Q-Pot does require reservations in order to dine here, but they are really easy to make even if you can't speak any Japanese. I will say that is not the same for when you enter the cafe. The menus do have translations, but the staff usually only speak Japanese, FYI. I got a really cute sweets plate and a latte, and both were pretty good. I do think it's better to come here with a friend though. They have menu sets, and it's technically cheaper to order a table for two and split it than to get an entire set for yourself, by the way. And before you leave, there are 2 levels of stores you can check out. Next on my list was the iconic fountain that all Lolitas take their coordinate photos at. This place is definitely worth coming to see. It's about a 3-minute walk from the station, and it's super quiet and out of the way of all of the hustle and bustle of Takeshita Street. For dinner, I actually checked out Yokohama Chinatown, and I'm really glad I went at night this time around. I just knew that all of the lights and lanterns would be so pretty at night, and boy was I correct. This time, I got a dumpling set and a boba tea. This one does not have anywhere to sit, so I didn't actually get to show you guys my food because I literally had no hands to film it. God damn it, where's my sister and vlog assistant when I need her? The next day, I was determined to visit the fabric district, Nippuri. This one is one of the places that closes very early. The main fabric stores in Nippuri are the tomato fabric stores, and there are about 4 or 5 different locations. They are usually separated by genre, so there's like a crochet specific store, there's a lace specific store, they have a fabric store that has 5 floors, literally, and I believe what is an outlet store. You could literally spend all day in Nippuri, but if you're not sure what to buy, might I suggest velveteen? From my experience, it is much higher quality and a lot cheaper to buy it in Japan than in the States. Afterwards, I did some more beading while in class, and I got a matcha and panini for lunch at Little Favorite Cafe again. I rushed after class to do some last-minute bucket list stuff before I had to leave tomorrow, sadly. First up, Harajuku again. My homestay mom had a coupon for a free photo at Harufilm, and I needed to repay her kindness by using that coupon. I got a little lost. I got very lost, but I did eventually find it. Even with the coupon though, these places are usually very inexpensive, about 500, 700 yen respectively. Although the lighting is slightly questionable at best, the limited edition Sakura border was adorable, and I did have a lot of fun experimenting at the photo booth. Afterwards, I finally went back to Akihabara, the electric town. I only had 40 minutes before most places closed here, so I was determined to go to a cosplay store before I left Japan. Next stop, Cospadio, which is in the 4th floor, I believe, of the G store. What I really like about this store is they sell extremely random but necessary stuff for cosplay. Eyelash curlers right next to resin gems. It's literally really necessary stuff for cosplay that I feel like most stores wouldn't think to sell. So I picked up what I needed, and I headed home for my last home-cooked meal, tanuki udon, and I also got to try on a fruity sorbet, so here's a picture of that. The morning of my last day, my homestay mom took me to this very fancy cafe, and I really enjoyed that extra time to relax with these fancy bathrooms and fancy jazz. Then it was time to say goodbye to Train TV and head back to Haneda Airport. Saying goodbye to my homestay family was definitely the hardest part of my trip. I really hope we get to cross paths again in the future. I can't really use N in the US, so I used the last of my cash to pick up some matcha at the airport store. I usually don't recommend this as the prices are higher in the airport. My last meal was gyoza, of course. Oh god, it was so good. And then back to Atlanta it was. Now here is when I tell you, I don't recommend connecting flights. Like, after sitting on a plane for 12 hours, waiting in customs, going through TSA again, a 4-hour layover, a 2-hour flight from Detroit to Atlanta, you're gonna be mad. Let me just tell you that. But don't you worry. I got a warm welcome when I got back to Atlanta, okay? I had an unheated croissant and a grande drink, and it was $15. Okay, I'm not gonna show you everything because that would literally take forever, and most of it was food and I ate it. I'm sorry. But I will show you the non-perishable stuff that I got for myself. If you go to Nippuri, there are, and you don't know what to buy as far as fabric is concerned, let me give you some recommendations. If you're a Lolita fashion person who loves sewing, I recommend getting this kind of lace. It is velvet ribbon that is kind of fed through a chemical lace. Joann's was literally the only place that sold this, and RIP Joann's, you can't really find this in the States. So this lace particularly, I would stock up for in Japan. The next thing I would get is just lace in general. These are easy to find in the States. They're just not as cheap as in Japan. These are about $2 a yard when they're usually about $5 or $7 a yard, depending on which one. And I did dye this lace, but rose lace specifically in Japan. This is very difficult to find in the States. Sometimes you can find just the rose lace, but I've literally never seen a ladder lace in a rose print. So you can't find this here. I'm telling you to get it when you're in Japan. This is cotton lace, so I was able to dye it for my pink diamond cosplay and feed this ribbon that I also bought. For reference, this ribbon was 9 meters and it was under $1. Moving on. Those were from the neighboring fabric stores and from the tomato lace store. The next thing I got from the fabric store in Nippuri, tomato specifically, is this real silk dupioni fabric. I wanted to make like a moitié inspired JSK, so I got this. Usually dupioni runs for about $20 to $50 a yard, depending on who you ask. This was about $25 a yard, which is very reasonably priced in my opinion. Next thing I got was cotton velveteen. I got this blue fabric, which, oh my god, that's gonna be so cute as a JSK. This was, let's see. Okay, look. 400 N a yard. Come on. Come on! Oh, actually. So I got 2 yards of it. This is about $10 a yard off the bolt. But if you go to their salvage section, this is about a yard of velveteen. That was 400 N a yard for the entire lot. So if you want to maybe get some fabric scraps, these are pretty cheap as well. And then obviously I got some regular black velveteen. This is about 980 N a yard, which is cheaper than the US, but that is such a deep, rich texture, which I'm telling you now, they don't make that in the States. I'm telling you right now. The other thing which I can't show you because it's a secret is I also bought some vinyl stretch fabric, kind of like this stuff but more shiny, for my Alice little cosplay. But I will be doing a whole showcase of that fabric in that video, so technically it's not fabric anymore, it's a dress already, so I can't show you that. Okay, next I will talk about Lolita fashion stuff. Oh my god, they're not on this address, hold on. So next is Lolita fashion stuff. The thing that I find the most annoyingly to buy overseas is socks, because I don't feel like paying like $15 for EMS shipping for socks. So I got a bunch of socks when I was in Japan. I got these really nice OTK socks from Alice and the Pirates and the Baby the Starshine Bride store in La Forêt. I got some in white and black, and I've already worn the black ones, and I can tell you as a thicker thighed person, these aren't super accommodating, but they do stay up pretty well, which is nice. I also got the Rochelle lace OTKs from the Metamorphose Tom Steffi store. I got some in white and I got some in black. I like the OTK length because they are very long. And then the last pair of socks I got were these really cute tulle lace AP socks from the Angelic Pretty store. There is actually a physical Baby the Star Shine Bright store in Shinjuku or Shibuya, I believe, which I did go to. And I got this really cute Baby the Star Shine Bright headdress, and I wore this almost every day when I was there in Japan. The shop clerk was so nice too. But for reference, most of these stores in La Forêt are very small. They almost kind of look like the vendor's hall if you've been to an anime convention. So if you're looking for like a full-size Lolita store, you're probably gonna have to go to Shibuya or Shinjuku to see like the physical stores, but there's not that many physical Lolita stores. I got these two blue roses from a pop-up shop right in Takeshita Street. They were not cheap, they were $40 for both of them, but I literally cannot find blue roses here in the States, so I was willing to drop a good penny on these, and they do have safety pins already on them, which is nice. I got these hair accessories from Book Off. I believe they're mostly for kimono, but I think they do look really... I think they look really nice with Lolita coordinates, and I do think the asymmetrical style is really cool, so I did get these for 200 yen, I believe. At the Alice and the Pirates, oh my god, at the Atelier Perot store, I got this really cute headdress. It's quite big. It kind of gives me bonnet vibes, but this is the headdress that I wore to Vampire Cafe in Ginza, and I love it. Which, if you are wondering, yes, Atelier Perot does have neon glass in the store. They also gave me a free tote bag and some goodies that I'm saving for a friend. The next thing I got was at Choice Closet, which is the store at Sakae Machidori. The first thing I got is this, it's the brand by Misako. These kutsos are super cheap. This is about 1,400 yen, which is under about $10 in US. It's a very cute kutso with this kind of nice Rochelle lace detailing. I like having kutsos, they're really good for the summer. And then the other thing I got from that store are these cross lace tights. These were 400 yen. It's even cheaper than Amazon. I really wish they made these in white, but I plan on wearing these to a goth club next week, and I'm very hyped. In the AP store at La Forêt, the other thing I got was this really cute kutso. It's got like a cute heart pin and this really cute bow embroidery. And I particularly like the really cute shirred sleeves that they have. But again, my recommendation to you is if you wear Lolita often, you're gonna want some kutsos, okay? You're not gonna want to deal with those poly cotton meta blouses every single day. Just saying. And then the last thing, which I already showed you from the fitting room at Uniqlo, is this really cute shirred one-piece dress. It's super thin, and it is a fully cotton piece, if that matters to you. Also has 2 pockets, like I was saying in the video, and it's really comfortable. I got this in a size large. For reference, I'm a medium or a schmedium, honestly. So when people say that Asian sizing is very small, it is very small. But this dress hits at about ankle length. If you've owned Girl OP from Mame Moitié before, this has a very similar fit to that. Very cute. The next store I went to was Yosuke. I highly recommend that you buy shoes if you go to Japan, because these are the most expensive things to ship if you live internationally. This is the first pair that I got. They're these really cute, kind of like Mary Jane style heels. Yosuke I really like because they're very high quality and they cushion the soles pretty well of these shoes. They have the buckle attachment, which is like a newer thing I've noticed brands have been doing. And look at the cute corset lacing on the back of the shoes. This is the glittery one. This is the only one they had in a 25 centimeter size. They did have a patent leather and a regular pleather one. And if I go back and they have them in my size, I might cave. But these are really cute. And I thought they were pretty unique and a great addition to my wardrobe. The next ones I got, which you can tell I've already worn, are these patent leather loafers that I got. Very reminiscent of the Camel 315 Demonias, I believe. I forget they also have the same corset lacing. And the tongue of the shoe is actually cushioned too, which is a really nice detail. Kind of clunky to walk in, but that's kind of the deal with most platforms. But again, I have worn these out already and these are pretty comfortable. Once again, this was the bag I showed you that I got from Kyoto. It's very comfortable, it's just a regular bag. I just got one because the one I had broke, so this was a really nice addition. Don't think I bought anything in Japan that is in here. Nope, just lip balm, inhaler, boring stuff like that. The other thing that you're going to end up buying when you're in Japan is a coin purse. I got a wide one so I could put coins and dollars in it, but just get a regular coin purse, okay? It was really hard to grab the coins out of here. This is one that I got from Ito-Yokado, which is a shopping mall in... Honestly, I think they have them everywhere, honestly, but yeah, it's super cute. Okay, now for cosmetics. So these products I got from Donkey all day. Some people don't like Donkey. It is very in your face as far as the shopping experience is concerned, and it's a little bit more expensive. I've heard, I think it's Matsumoto. It's like a pharmacy and it is cheaper if you do want to go and have like a less overstimulating experience, but honestly, I don't mind it. This is the first thing I got. I'm a huge lip tint, oh my god. It's backwards anyway. I'm a huge lip tint girly. This is Blend Berry in the shade. I have no idea. This one is a very, it's a very lightweight tint. So like, if you can see here, it's very sheer as far as lip tints go, but it is pigmented if you do have darker skin tones. This one, on the other hand, Lily by Red, I got like I think the second to darkest shade. This is the shade I'm actually wearing now. This one is a lot more pigmented, as you can see, and it stays up pretty well. It smells like grapefruit. It's quite nice. The next thing I got at Donkey is this Chardonnay Diane oil in body soap. This is the most unique scent that I've ever smelled in my life. It literally smells like Chardonnay and I love the scent so much. I'm gonna be really sad when I'm out of this, just saying. I also got this Skin Aqua sunscreen. I used this just because it was in my face and I needed sunscreen when I was in Japan. It's very high in fragrance, so I probably wouldn't use this on your face or if you're very sensitive, but for like 2 weeks, I had like a glitter on my hand. I was like, what the hell is this coming from? It's from the sunscreen. They have glitter in that sunscreen, so that's pretty slay. The next thing I got were these hair products from the hold on, from the hair section. This is just a moist repair treatment. I treat it as a conditioner. It's not the best conditioner in the world for curly hair if you have hair like mine, but it is very moisturizing, and once you work it through your hair, it has pretty good slip. Very high in fragrance though if you're sensitive to that. This is their hair oil. I really like this hair oil. Very high in fragrance if you're sensitive to that, but I do really like the hair oil. And the last cosmetic that I got was this rice face mask that I saw. I do actually like this. And this is from someone who has combination skin where if you look at my skin funny, it'll break out. So the fact that I can put this on my face, I would definitely give this a try. You don't need a lot of it, a little goes a long way, and it's really easy to add into your skincare routine. Personally, I quite like it. And then super randomly, I got a water-soluble marker from the hobby store in Japan. Oh, last thing. This is a very boring purchase, but I got a book bag when I was here. This was literally $13 from Book Off, and this was my most necessary purchase. Now, and I'm saying this as a fashion girly. Don't bring your cute little bags or whatever. Bring a goddamn book bag, okay? Like, I could put my water in this, I could put my school supplies in this, I could put like everything I needed for the day. It gets really hot in the afternoon and really cold in the night. So this was even better for my jackets as well. That's everything that I got for myself specifically. Obviously, this doesn't count anything that I got for my family while I was out or any of the food that I got while I was there. You know, matcha. I would get matcha while you're there. I'm not obsessed with it, you are. I had a great experience and I definitely see myself going back. But a lot of what made my experience so good was all the preparation I did beforehand. I had completed Japanese 4 and I'd done just about a week's worth of research prior to my flight to Japan. I mean, we can't be prepared for everything, but doing your research is definitely a good start. I hope this video was entertaining, and if you are planning to visit Japan, I hope this video was like maybe a good starting point, an entertaining starting point, if you will, on planning on maybe what you should go see or what you should bring or what you should learn to say when you're on your way. If you did get to the end of this very long ass vlog, thank you. We just got to over 700 subscribers recently, so thank you for all the support. As always, this is a cosplay channel, so don't you worry. We have cosplays coming, anime expos coming up, and as always, I hope you, yes you, have a wonderful day.